If you haven't watched the first part of this watercolor demonstration, please watch that video first before continuing with this one. I've placed a link to that video in the description section below. While the paper was absorbing the water, I mixed a dull blue-grey colour for the distant foliage. For that, I used a mix of cobalt turquoise, some burnt sienna, and even a small amount of burnt umber. Once the back of my paper absorbed all the water I put on it, I then wet my backing board as well. I'm now going to work on the background foliage. Most of the work will be done with my size 12 round brush. There's some key areas which is where this sort of dull bluey grey green colour connects to other shapes. So the first shape is going to be down here where it comes down to the water's edge. I'm doing this with very little paint in my brush. Make sure you preserve some light areas, otherwise the painting will lose its source of light. This could be a bit lighter. Again, if we look at the photo, you still get some of these sort of stronger shadow shapes, and I don't mind that. They're sort of missing from my painting at the moment, so I'm going to pick up some of this green, just one brush load, move it over here, and then I'm going to darken that. In barely touching the paper. Let me just very lightly dry this. Let's just mix a dark colour. This is just a mixture of French ultramarine and burnt sienna. I now pick up my rigger brush and use it to paint some of the fine branches and the foliage. I leave little gaps in the branches. These represent foliage that's in front of them. I'm lifting some of the paint on these thin branches because the tone is a bit strong. This will also add a bit of extra texture. Add some more water to the mix because these distant branches will be lighter in tone. Too much white there. Just hinting at the tree trunk through the foliage with a very light tone. Later I may put one or two branches down over the water, but not at the moment. This colour here is leaning more to a cool dark, closer to the black. Over here I want some more warmth, so I picked up some of that and I've added some more burnt sienna to it. Into this dark here I've added a bit of aureolin just to give this dark colour a bit of a green tint. I'm using this to add some of the dark green leaves and grasses in this area. The rigger is good for these marks because it stops me from trying to be too detailed. Just adding a bit more texture to this tree trunk. So even a rigger can help you add some interesting textures. I placed a very weak mix of cobalt blue in the distance. This is to represent the reflection of the sky from above. And then I'm going in with this dull grey green colour, which is a reflection of all the foliage in that area. Paint around these three rocks. Just leave the highlight, paint through the rocks. Paint around this foliage. That shape is a bit too round, so I'm just breaking it up a little bit. Put a little bit of light there on the water. Vary the colour. I've just painted the light tones on the water. Now this edge here, I have to pick up the fan brush and just break it up. So you don't want a straight edge that looks like you've just cut part of the paper off at the tips of the green colours. So we've established lighter tones, cooler colours to stronger tones, warmer colours. Now we'll go in and play with the reflections. And the reflections, a lot of these reflections are more represented with vertical marks. So let's attack the bright green colours. And then add a bit of water as I move further away, because all the reflections do get lighter because the object reflecting is lighter. And here I'm just looking at my painting, not so much the photo. Here we've got a dark shape and it's got a bit of burnt sienna in it. So I'll grab some of that, a little bit of French Alps marine. Same here. And then here, this green is a darker blue green. I don't want too much of it. And then we've got these dark trunks. Let's get some French ultramarine and burnt sienna. Weaker, so I'll just dip my brush in some water. Just a hint. This side of the riverbank is in shadow, so for that I'll just get some French ultramarine, some of this green here, just to darken it a bit. And then maybe use the fan brush. Some nice light coming through there, so I'll save some of that. There's shadows that run across the water. So I'm going to just take out some moisture from my brush and run them across like that. and then get a dull grey just at the water's edge, just here and there. Touch the water's edge and the water at the same time, and that creates the riverbank. I don't want to create an outline effect. Break up any sharp edges with the fan brush. Just making adjustments to the light. I'm going to give that a light spray. That'll just give me a few more moments to sit back and have a closer look at it. I think these were too strong, so I'm going to just soften them a little bit. I just saw the opportunity to make that riverbank look a little bit more obvious. And now look at any other shadows across the water, and they're all greys. These rocks will have a reflection. I know I haven't painted the rocks yet, but I'm sort of jumping the gun and painting the reflections while it's wet. The main thing is not to have so much moisture in your reflection colour that it bleeds this way. You want it just to run down this way, but not outwards. So you can see here I've just left enough space so that if this does bleed, it isn't going to keep going to the side. Some ripples in the water, which I like. just in the foreground like that. This reflection is a bit too strong. I'm going to dry this and then put in the rocks and then any last little marks. I can't put the rocks in until I dry it, so let me just go and dry that. All right, that's dry enough. So we'll put the rocks in. Just French ultramarine and burnt sienna for the rock colour. But vary it, you know, sometimes more burnt sienna, other times more French ultramarine. Give this a more defined reflection. Same with these. And the water's edged, just like we do with boats. There's an area there that would be even darker. So I'm just painting in the gaps around this bright little bit of foliage there. the jump in tone from these rocks to those is a bit too great, so I'm going to darken these a tad. I'm just lightening these rocks a little bit. I'm doing that by drizzling a little bit of water on the top, and this creates some nice little highlights. And now I'm just working on the edge of the shoreline just to try to make it look as real as possible. A little bit of dry brush. Again, I have to be careful because this is damp paper that I'm painting into. I'm going to darken this shadow here to give this shape a little bit more form. So let's pick up some greens, French ultramarine, maybe a hint of the permanent rose. Don't lose all the highlights, however, in doing this. I like the dark ripples across this part of the water connecting into this shadow, so I'm just throwing them in with some very light dry brush strokes. Now some of these marks work in my painting because of the other marks I've made before. You don't have to put them all in. I feel I need another rock or two, so I'm sort of hunting for the right spot. Have a highlight on the rock. Quite often you can get a reflection of the highlight. This concludes part 2 of the video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a like, and if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. It helps me out a lot. And if you're able, please consider supporting me on Patreon. I look forward to seeing you for the next one.